Hello everyone, I'm Veena Bende, working as an assistant professor in AISSMS IoT, Department of Computer Engineering. In last lecture, we have started Unified Processing Model. In last lecture, we are focusing on the inception and elaboration. In this video, we are focusing on the construction phase, transition phase, and production phase. What is meant by the construction phase? Construction phase mainly focusing on the actual implementation part of based on the designing part. Cumulative increase in functionality it gives the exact functionality to the design. It it has a greater depth of the implementation. Greater stability begins to appear by with the help of this construction phase. Implement all details, not only those of the central architectural value. Construction is the largest phase in any project. In this phase, the remainder of the system is built on the foundation. System features are implemented in a series of short, time-consuming iterations. Each iteration results in an executable release of the software. Each iteration gives you the exact working part of the software. It is a customary to write full text use case during the construction phase, as we discussed in the earlier video. In unified process basically focused on the UML language, that is Unified Modeling Language diagram. Those are used during this phase includes activity sequence diagram, collaboration diagram, the state transition and interaction overview diagrams. The initial operation capability milestones marks the end of the construction phase. The next is the transition phase. The final project phase is the transition phase. In this phase, the system is deployed to the target users, that is the end users or the stakeholders. Feedback received from an initial release or initial releases. Many results in the further refinements to be incorporated over the course of several transition phase. Transitions phase also includes system convergence and user training. The product releases milestone marks the end of the transition phase. Transition phase is nothing but the simply stated as the deployment phase. It transfers to the system to the user community. It includes manufacturing, shipping, installing, training, technical support and maintenance. Entire deployment activities are mentioned over there. The deployment activities which we are handling in other models are also mentioned here in this uh, unified process also. Deployment team begins to shrink. Control is moved to the maintenance team. As the product delivered, the control transferred automatically to the maintenance team. Control is moved to the maintenance team. Alpha, beta and final releases. Alpha, beta and final releases. Such type of testing part is done in this deployment phase. Software gets updates as per the requirements. Integration and existing systems are handled over here. The last one is the production phase. It coincides with the deployment activity. Software is monitored. The production phase is nothing but the entire part of the maintenance phase. Support for the infrastructure is provided. So, for example, in every particular days, after particular days, the system of every electronic device get updated automatically. Why it is so? It is because of the support of infrastructure provided by the deployment committee. Defect reports and requests for changes are submitted and evaluated. At the end of this deployment phase, when the different kinds of reports and changes are occurred, these are nothing but the next future enhancements of the project. Unified process model characteristics are mentioned over here. These are nothing but it is an iterative incremental model. Iterative and incremental process model. What is meant by that? The unified process is an iterative and incremental development process. The elaboration, construction, and transition phases are divided into a series of time-consuming iterations. The inception phase may also be divided into iterations of a large project. Each iteration results in an increment, which is a release of the system that contains added or improved functionality compared with the previous release. although most iterations will include work in most process disciplines. The next one is use case driven. In this unified process, use cases are used to capture the functional requirement and to define the contents of the iterations. Each iteration takes a set of use cases or scenarios from requirements all the way through implementation and test and the deployment. The next is it is architecture centric. The unified process insists that architecture sit in the heart of the project. Architecture is a very crucial and very important part of UML diagram because when the architecture is perfect, the entire project automatically gets converted into the perfection. So architecture should be very perfect, and that's why the unified process model is a architecture centric. As we discussed, the UML diagrams are used in this UML unified process model. That's why the unified process model basically focused on the architecture of the software. The last one is the risk focus. The unified process requires the project team to focus on addressing the most critical risks early in the project life cycle. The deliverables of each iteration, especially in the elaboration phase, must be selected in order to ensure that the greatest risks are addressed first. The risks are we can't predict the risk at any point, but unified process model with the help of UML language, we can we can only target our risk and we can try to fix our risks. Thank you.